Hey guys, time to work through the Chapter 1 test review. A lot of stuff to go through. Let's do a good job. Let's pay attention to details. I love it. Use the following coordinates to answer the questions. On part A, it says N is the midpoint of W and M. So we have W clocking in at 5, negative 5. 5, negative 5. We have M, which we don't know, and then they gave us N at 1, negative 3. So those are the coordinates we're going to work with. There's a few ways to do this, but the way I kind of do it is let's work on the x coordinates first, 5 and 1. So my x coordinates, if I start at 5 and I go to 1, I've done minus 4, right? So it's minus 4 to get to the middle. So if I do another minus 4, I will be at the other end. So negative 3 would be the other end. Do the same process to the y coordinates. Y coordinates. If I start at negative 5 and I go to negative 3, what have I done? I've done plus 2. So to get to the other end, I need to do another plus 2, landing me at negative 1. And so the answer is negative 3, negative 1 on part A. On part B, what is longer, AG or WG? So we need to do the distance formula, which is how far apart are the points. So we're going to start with A and G. So AG, and I'm just going to kind of look up here. It's going to be the square root of, here's A and here's G. We look at the x's, 3 and negative 1. That is 4 apart. We take 4, we square it. Then we look at the y coordinates, 10 and negative 7. That would be 17 apart, and we square it. So that would be 16 plus 289. So 289, 299. That would be the square root of 305. So we do the square root of 305. And I get 17.464. Make sure I got that right. Yeah, okay, 17.464. That's how long AG is. Then we need to do the same work for WG. So WG, let's focus on W. 5 to negative 1 would be 6 apart. And then the y values, negative 5 to negative 7 would be 2 apart. Oh, those numbers are a lot smaller. So I know this is going to be smaller. So that's going to be 36 plus 4. That's the square root of 40, which I don't even need to type in. Like, I know that's a lot less. AG is definitely going to be the longer one. What is the distance from A to W? So we're going to focus on A and W now. And again, square root of, we look at the x coordinates, 3 and 5, that's 2 apart. We look at the y coordinates, 10 and negative 5, that's 15 apart. So that's going to be the square root. That's going to be 4 plus 225. That's the square root of 229. We type that in, the square root of 229, and I get 15.133 when you round it to the nearest thousandths. Perfect. Okay, we're moving along. 2 flat walls meet at the corner of a classroom, but which postulate best describes that? You can read through these, but 2 flat walls would be like 2 planes. They're meeting in the corner. Well, where do 2 planes hit? 2 planes hit on a line, so it would have to be D there. This one might be a little tricky. You need to draw the picture out. It says that you have an angle, and this is some of the new stuff that we just learned. We're going to have to factor on this one. We have an angle called ABC, and it says D is on the interior, and it says BD is an angle bisector. So if I draw this, if it's an angle bisector, that means that these 2 angles are equal. They're the same size. Angle ABC is an acute angle. That's going to come in handy later. We know that ABD would be x squared minus 3x. We know that DBC is 11x minus 40, and we just said that those are equal. So x squared minus 3x equals 11x minus 40. We have an x squared term, we have an x term, and we have a constant. So we need to make one side 0. So I need to subtract 11x, that'd give me minus 14x. I need to add 40, and that cancels both of those out, leaving me with 0. And we just learned this like today. What factors of 40 add up to negative 14? Well, that's going to be minus 10 and minus 4. So if you take the factors of 40 that add up to 14, it's going to be 10 and 4. They need to both be negative because the middle number is negative. So minus 10 minus 4 gets you minus 14. Negative 10 times negative 4 gets you positive 40. We need to solve both of these. X minus 10 equals 0. X would equal positive 10. X minus 4 equals 0. X would equal positive 4. So 10 and 4 are the options. We need to plug those in. If I plug in 10, I would get 100 minus 30, which is 70. If I plug in 4, I would get 16 minus 12, which is 4. Remember that ABC has to be an acute angle? Well, what is 70 plus 70? That's 140. That can't be it. So even though that's an acceptable number in general, this can't be 140 degrees. They told us that it's acute. So it is going to be 8 degrees. If these are both 4 and 4 add up to 8, that is an acute angle. That is the only correct answer to this question. All right, here's another situation. We know that the distance from A to C is 2/3 x plus 30. We know A to B, this part, is 3x minus 115. We know that B to C, that's this section, is negative x plus 85. And I already see, hey, I can solve for x now. So we know that little part plus little part equals the whole thing. So 3x minus 115 minus x plus 85. I'm going to add these two parts together. And that needs to equal the 2/3 x plus 30. So I am going to combine like terms. That would give me 2x minus 30 equals 2/3 x plus 30. I'm going to get rid of the 3 in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply everything times 3. 6x minus 90 equals 2x plus 90. So I multiplied everything by 3 to get rid of that denominator 3. And then I'm going to get my x's on one side. That'd be 4x. Add 90 to the other side to get 180. So that would be x equals 45. But that's not the question. The question is, how long is A all the way to D? They tell us that CD and AB are equal. So that would be 3x, which we said is 45. 3 times 45 minus 115. So that's 135 minus 115 would be 20. So that's 20, which means this is 20. Negative 45 plus 85 would be 40. So the whole thing would be 20 plus 40 plus 20, which comes out to 80. So we had to set up that equation. The only opener we had was part plus part equals the bigger part. We had to totally ignore that. That had nothing to, CD had nothing to do with the setup. But they did tell us CD and AB were equal. That's how we knew it had to be 20 as well. K is the midpoint of HL. So we have H clocking in at 1, comma, negative 7. We have K, which is 9, comma, 3. It says find the coordinates of L. So this is an end, this is a mid, and this is the other end. So we did this a little bit ago. So how far is it? Look at the x's. Let's start with the x's. Start at 1, we end up at 9. That is plus 8. So we need to do another plus 8. And that will land us at 17. Then we're going to do the same thing to the y's. Look at the y values. The y values are negative 7 and 3. That is plus 10. So we need to do another plus 10, which is 13. 17, comma, 13 is the answer. Nice. Woo! Moving along. We got some sometimes, always, never questions. 3 points are collinear. Well, they could be in a triangle. That's one option. Or 1, 2, 3 in a line. That's the second option. 1, 2, 3. So it could be a triangle. It could be a line sometimes. Oh, dear. All right. Number 2, 3 points are coplanar. Well, it's the same situation. That's one plane, that's infinite planes. In both cases, they're coplanar. 3 points are always coplanar. 4 points are coplanar. Well, if I have 1, 2, 3 points here, a fourth point on the same plane is good to go. But what if that point was above or below the iPad screen for me, or whatever this flat surface is? If the fourth point made a pyramid, that would be non-coplanar. So 4 points are coplanar sometimes. Linear pairs are supplementary. A linear pair are two angles that form a line. Do two angles that form a line have to add up to 180? Yes. If I flip the script, do supplementary angles have to be linear pairs? No, because supplementary angles could be anywhere. Linear pairs have to be next to each other. Supplementary angles could be anywhere. That's the difference between the two. Supplementary angles consist of one acute angle and one obtuse angle. Well, let's see. If I have an angle that's 80 degrees, how big is the other one? It's going to be 100. That's one acute and one obtuse. But could both angles be 90? So in this case, the answer is no. So sometimes it happens. 90 is the only number that makes that untrue. Every other combination, it's true, but 90 and 90 does not fit that description. All right, it says the following questions reference this picture. So these are not general questions. These are questions about the picture. D and C are collinear. Yes, 2 points. I don't even need the picture. 2 points are always collinear. 2 points are always coplanar. True. AB and AC are the same line. AB would be this line. AC would be this line. Those are not the same line. No, those are different lines. BA and AB are opposite rays. I don't need the picture. So real quick, if I have a situation here, if I have a ray, if this is B and this is A, BA is a ray. If I go the opposite direction, I have to start at B. So it'd have to be B comma something, call it C. BA and BC are opposite rays in my picture, but if they don't start at the same place, there's no way they're opposite rays, which I understand. Hey, BA goes this way, AB goes that way. Yes, they do go opposite directions, but opposite rays are very specific. They have to start at the same place. So those would not be opposite rays. Now, if I put like point D here, BA, ray BA, and ray BD, are those the same ray? Yep. What if I had like point E up here? Now that's a totally different ray from all of them. So knowing your rays and knowing which direction they're going is all a big deal. I'm going to get rid of all that. But the answer is definitely false. They don't start at the same place. And are these the same ray? Again, they don't start at the same place. So BA and AB are not the same ray. The ray BA goes this way, and the ray AB goes that way. Those are different rays. False. If J is 3/4 of the way from A to Z, find the coordinates. So we're going to start by focusing on the x's. The x's are 5 and -6. These are my x's. How far is that? That is -11. But we don't want to go the whole way. We want to go 3/4 of the way. So we need to do a -11 times 3/4, which is -33/4, which is like -8.25. That is not the answer. Like, look at these two numbers. Is this even in between the two numbers? No, that is not the answer. That's not the coordinate. But that's how far we're going. We have to apply that to the 5. It's 5 minus 8.25, which is 3.25. So we start at 5. Instead of doing -11 and going the entire way, we do minus 3.25. Sorry, we do minus 8.25, which gets us 3.25 as the end result. And then let's focus on the y values, 20 and 44. So the y values, we start at 20, we land at 44. That's plus 24. So what do we want to do? We want to do 24 times 3/4, which is 24 divided by 4 is 6. 6 times 3 is 18. So 18 is not the answer. Again, look at these numbers. Is 18 even in between these two? No. But instead of doing plus 24 and going the entire distance, we want to do plus 18. 18 would land us 3/4 of the way. So the final coordinate of where we land is negative 3.25, comma, 38. The number one mistake is people put these as the answers. Those are not the answers. You have to apply those numbers to the starting position. So that's a big deal. Make sure that you're doing that. The next question is a word problem. We've done this a few times. If you forget the process here, what I recommend doing is make up a number like 10. So I'm going to go through this real fast, but if you have 10, what's the complement of 10? Well, it's 80. How did you get that? 90 minus 10. What's the supplement of 10? Well, it's 170. How did you get that? 180 minus 10. So on these questions, x is the angle. Like, we don't know the angle, so we call it x. So what is the complement of x? Well, if it's 10, you do 90 minus 10. Well, if it's x, you do 90. You do 90 minus x. What's the supplement? Same process. 180 minus x. Right? You treat x just like you treated 10. So whatever you did to 10, you do for x. So in these questions, the angle is x, and then this would represent the complement, and this would represent the supplement. So when you do these questions, make sure you're translating correctly. So let's go through this. 100 more than, that's going to be some number plus 100. The grammatically speaking, that means plus 100, not 100 plus. Don't mess that up. 5 times something, 5 with parentheses, 5 times this thing. The complement, we just said the complement is 90 minus the angle. And then is our breaking point. Is equals. All right, and then on the other side, we have 90 less than. Again, grammatically speaking, that is 90 less than. That is minus 90 at the end. 3 times something. 3 times something would be 3 parentheses. And then supplement. Supplement is 180 minus x. So let's make sure we're doing a good job there. The most common wrong things people put is instead of 90 minus x, they just put 90. Well, hold up. What if I said, hey, guys, I got a 90-degree angle. What's the complement for a 90-degree angle? It's 0. That can't be it. So it cannot be just 90 all by itself. That cannot be it. Don't do that. The other big mistake is people put x minus 90 instead of 90 minus x. Well, that would be like taking 10 and doing 10 minus 90. That's not 80. That's negative 80. That doesn't work. Don't do that. So that's wrong as well. It must be the way we wrote it here in orange. All right, we got to distribute correctly. 5 times 90 is 450. 5 times x is 5x. Make sure you distribute to both numbers. 3 times 180 is 540. 3 times x is minus 3x. That's a minus sign. I like to combine like terms, so that would give me 550 minus 5x. 540 minus 90 would be 450 minus 3x. So that would give me 100. So I want to get my x, make sure it's positive. So add 5x over, I get 2x. And then I would have 100 over here, so x equals 50. And then once you know x, that's the angle. So how do you get 40? 90 minus 50 is 40. 180 minus 50 is 130. Boom, 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 boom. I got one more question here. Number 9, last question. Level 4, simply due to reading. There's a lot going on here. Hopefully I get it right. If you look at the map of Englandton-Vilberg, then you will see that all of the major locations fall on a coordinate grid with the town square at 0, 0. James McJerkface's house is at 7, 10. Ginger McNiceone's house is at negative 4, positive 4. In the town of Englandton-Vilberg, there is a large amusement park. The north entrance is there. The west entrance is there. I suggest you draw and label your picture because there's a lot going on. Okay, well, let's draw and label a picture. So I'm going to draw a graph. We have the town square is at 0, 0. I'm going to call that T. James McJerkface is right 7 up 10. We're going to call that J. That's 7, comma 10. Ginger McNiceones is left 4 up 4. So somewhere over here, call it G. And that is 4, comma, that's negative 4, comma positive 4. And then we have the north entrance is right 5 down 3. That's north. That is 5, comma negative 3. And the west entrance is left 1 down 8. West entrance, left 1 down 8. Okay, so there's all the things. Not a perfect drawing, but that's what it kind of looks like. James and Ginger want to carpool to go to the amusement park together. Assuming there's a straight line from Ginger's house to the west entrance, and there's also a straight line from James's house to the north entrance, whose house should they meet at before driving to the amusement park together, assuming they want to do the closer distance? So basically our choices here are Ginger to west, that's G to W. We need that distance. So let's do that real fast. So G to W would be, Ginger's house would be -4 to -1 would be 3. We square it. And then +4 to -8 would be 12. We square it. So that is 9 plus 144. That's the square root of 153. So that's Ginger to west. And then we want to also do James to north. So James's house is at 710. The north entrance is at 5, -3. So 7 to 5 is 2. We square it. Plus 10 to -3 would be 13. We square it. That's going to be 4 plus 169, which is 173. So what's bigger? Square root of 173 is bigger. So the shorter distance would be meeting at Ginger's house. They want to meet their friend Michael at the Science Museum on a different day. The Science Museum is at -2, 12. The Science Museum is the midpoint between James and Michael's house. If the city's arboretum, I don't know, is the midpoint between Michael and Ginger. That should be, it should be Science Museum. I changed, that should be Science Museum, sorry. I'll fix that later. Then what is the location? So we have the science, wait a second. See, I told you reading is hard. I read it wrong. Let's go back and try again. The Science Museum is at -2, 12. I'm going to get that on my graph here. Left 2 up 12. That's the Science Museum. That is left 2, and my pencil just keeps stopping. Right, left 2 up 12. So there's the Science Museum. And it is the midpoint between James and Michael's house. So here's James, Science Museum, Michael's house will be over here. Okay. If the city's blank is the midpoint between Michael's house and Ginger's house, so this is where Michael's house is going to be. So I need to get Michael's house before I do anything else. So I'm going to do that work here. I know this is kind of confusing, but 7 to -2 is -9. So I need to do another -9. That's going to land me at -11. 10 to 12 is +2. I'm going to do another +2. That's going to be at 14. So there's Michael's house. We got Michael's house, right? The Science Museum is the midpoint between James and Michael, right? So we got that. So now we have Michael, we have Ginger, we need this thing. And it says that the arboretum is the midpoint between Michael and Ginger. So now I need to get the middle of Michael and Ginger. So how do you get a midpoint? We haven't done this in a while, but these are my two coordinates. I like to stack them, -11, 14. -4, 4. I need to add them, -15, 18, and divide by 2. Remember, midpoint means the average of 2 points. You add and divide by 2. So -15 over 2, 9 would be the answer. So lot of that was pretty tricky for sure, but there it is. Boom, there's every problem. I appreciate you guys. Let me know if you have questions. See ya.